have Vinny Cox and Benji Kelly. Vinny is the former chairman, county board delegate, coach, and Benji is the current secretary of the minor committee in Rosemount and also secretary of Oige Boys. Thanks, lads, for joining us. I suppose, Benji, we start with you and ask you about what your earliest memories of the club growing up.
Hi Niall, I suppose maybe you hit me in the spot there, but I suppose the one thing I do remember was we won the minor in 1991 and Joe Kim was over us, but Joe was over us and we always met down below at Kelly's shop there. But anyway, that particular morning anyway, the match was I think around 11 o'clock, but Joe was a little bit late as normal, but Joe arrived maybe around 20 to 11. But he got us the Ballincarrig in time anyway. We won't say how we got there, but there was about 10 of us in the car with Joe, because he normally brings the team all in the car, and we all got there in one piece. And we won actually that day too, and I was the captain, and it was a mighty day. And that's my memory of one of the highlights anyway of my year was getting down to Ballincarrig with Joe in the car.
And that probably would have been the first minor we'd won since when we'd won in 81.
I think that was a minor championship. It was a C championship and it was a 13-a-side. Yeah. So it was great, it was great competition to win at the time.
And then, say, growing up in the village, you would have grew up very close to the pitch. Do you know what was it like living that close to the pitch? And I suppose you would have spent a lot of your days up here.
I should have spent every evening up here trying to kick ball, and you'd be down below, and even when the seniors were trained there, you'd be at the underage, you'd be jumping in and you'd be kicking the ball back to them, and you'd be helping them out when you'd be ball would go down to Johnny Ward's field there, and there'd be no nets at that time, and you'd be getting the ball back, and it was different than it is now. We're spoilt now, but the grass might have been about a foot long, but if it's 3 inches tall today, you're getting a bit of grief. But things have changed. That's all I'd say. But
the only thing that hasn't changed, you're still in the park every evening.
Still in the park every evening, yeah. That'll have to change again. But anyway.
And Vinny, so you would have joined the club then after you finished playing. Say, what's your memories of the club from when you got involved?
I suppose in the beginning, to me, it was pretty scary because I played for a neighbouring club. Because when I moved to Westmeath, I used to meet my good wife in Ballymore in the pub. That's the only pub that was there. So the lads inveigled me to play. So I played for a number of years at Ballymore. And then when I had the kids, in fairness, I probably thought at the time that I'd end up with Ballymore, but Suzanne said, if we want to be part of this community, we need to become part of it. So she said, the boys need to play for Rosemount. And I was terrified, really was. I didn't know how I'd be accepted, because most of my kids were the same age as most of the people that would have been battering me when I was playing. But
I wonder if they have a similar opinion.
No, I'd say I was timid. But I remember coming down to the first training session, and the acceptance here was not just acceptance, but people looking for me to get involved. So that's 19 years ago, and I've been involved with the club ever since. I have really nothing, only good memories. It's an unbelievable. They have the same common purpose. All everyone wants is the good of the players and the good of the team. So it was probably the best move I ever made for me and my kids, because we have great friends through football, and the kids have great friends through football. And even though my oldest lad is 25 now, he's still best friends are the lads who plays football in Rosemount. So a brilliant move for me.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is the same for both of you. Both of you got really involved in coaching and underage in Rosemount. And I suppose there's challenges number-wise. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I would say when people look back at Rosemount in years to come, they will say, my God, they were absolutely phenomenal what they did. Because in 2017, our senior team were flying high, and we've seen other clubs, when the senior teams are going well, they forget about the underage. So our minor teams and under 16 teams were probably all playing fairly high in Division 1 and 2. But when the committee and the club and the community came together, they realised the numbers 7-8 years down the road were dwindling away, and they put a plan in place to address that. And so there was lots of meetings about who we should partner with and what we should do, and I suppose they found a like-minded club with, a common goal. It was all about being fair and kids playing football, and I suppose that ended up with Castle Daly became that club.
And Cill GA was formed, or Cill Boys was formed.
Yeah, Cill was formed in 2018, and there was a huge amount of work. I mean, the name came through the school, and the jerseys there was loads of competition. So I thought it was a brilliant introduction. And actually, the way the committee came up with it was 5 people from each club, and those people were, they were very carefully picked. So because obviously we had the county board out here talking, so they said, listen, the first couple of years are critical because the infighting, that can happen between them. So having that consistency of those 5 people, that from each club, and it really to bed it in, and I think that was the key. So we had a chairman and secretary from each club were part of the committee, and then there was 3 other people picked from each club, and that became, I suppose, the basis every year.
And I think it's very serious. It's been a very successful partnership.
I think it's unbelievable that we competed. We've won a few championships since. There mightn't be Division 1, but we've won Division 2 at Mike under 16 and minor, and we've been competitive. And I think everybody has been looked after in terms of football. Anyone that wants to play football has a place to play. We've always been able to field, which is key. You see other clubs fielding 13, 14, not turning up for games. And we had, I think, it's been very, very good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
And Brendan, what's your thoughts on the future then? Like, how's numbers looking? And
yeah, if we look at Rosemount itself, if you average out, we have about 6 lads coming on there every year. We need the likes of Castlelary. But the future's looking good there. Like, we're competing there in Division 2. We're probably not Division 1 team, but Division 2, Division 3. We could have been a Division 1 team there now next year, this under 16 team. And we're competing, and that's the main thing, that we're competing, and everybody's getting football. Every panel would have maybe 20 of a panel there. We're fielding at the moment 4 teams, so we've under 12s, under 14s, under 16s and under 18s, and we've about 20, 22 or 3 of each panel, and when you get to 15 aside and you need to bring in a few subs, you need every one of these lads playing. But the one thing about Cill that I see is, and I like, is the coaches who are there, and it's normally 2 coaches from each side. Even though if you're from Castlelary or from Rosemount and vice versa with the coaches, you're still treated the very same, and it's about fairness. So it's not being biased in one team. I think the lads, and I have seen it, they're very fair to each other, and it's as much about being fair to Rosemount as it is about Castlelary, because they look after each other, and that is the key to this. Is we're out there to help each other and look after each other, and that's very critical, that we're not going behind each other's back. We're fair, and the other thing is we're very honest to each other. So if there's something to be talked about over the table, we'll say it straight to each other's face and we'll fight it out or whatever. But we're not going behind each other's back, and we're fair to each other, and that's all I'd say. We also, it's going that well there, we also field in at senior level. Now this year it'll be under 20. So it's technically there, it's 5 teams at the moment, which is under 12, 14, 16, 18 and under 20, which is mighty, and that's the way it is at the minute. So
brilliant, and fair play to everyone for making such a success of that. As was Vinny, you've taken on a new role now within the GA circles. You've become one of the club's referees. How's that journey been?
Actually, I thought coaching where I would always be, because I've done all my badges, coached with the club, coached with the county, and I said that's where my future is. And it was a crossroads for me. I was going to either go coaching senior teams and other teams, but I suppose my passion is watching my own lads play and watching Rosemount play. So I said if I was coaching another team, I'd miss that. So I still want to keep involved in football. So I started doing a little bit of refereeing. So I do a little bit, and actually love it. I love the interaction with players on the field, communicating with them, I suppose. Yeah, and I'm not getting a lot of abuse yet. You probably find that very hard to believe, but I'm not getting a lot of abuse yet. I even started doing the ladies football. I think it's a great way, and I think any coach, I think if they spent a year refereeing, I would be a completely different coach next year after spending a year refereeing.
And is it fair to say that, say in your experience in coaching, now refereeing, it's a totally different side of the organisation?
100%. I was the guy, taught on the sideline. Well, I'll change that referee's decision. this, whatever you call them in the middle of the field. So I think it's, communication to me is the key. I be continually communicating with the players. People do look at me. I do even talk to their teams before games. You know, tell them that my name is Vinny. I'll make mistakes, so will they. And sometimes in the middle of a game, even when I do make a mistake, and a player will say, "Yeah, maybe you got shot." I said, "Sorry, I could have made a mistake," and it diffuses it. So they said, "Well, okay, well at least he's honest and explained." It's different, and I think having played football gives you a better chance. It's not. I mean, obviously, every decision you make, 50% of people think it's right and 50% think it's wrong. But I think if people think you're honest and keep up with the play, it's better. But I'm enjoying it, and I definitely will continue to do it.
Good stuff, fair play. And then finally, Benji, I suppose while you're very involved in the coaching and have been for a number of years, we're continuously adding new coaches, and I think this year, you know, the club was set up Rosy Tots as well.
That's right.
What's the scene like for future coaches?
Well, it's all changed. The coaching, it's all changed in the GA now. You have to have your safeguard done, and you have to have your guard vetting done, and you also have to have your foundation done and your Ward 1 done. So look at the moment, Rosemount as a club, we have I think we have 68 coaches coming on, so it's a huge number coming on between people that are involved, is what I'm trying to say. Now not everybody is going to stay at it because it is very tight, but look at the numbers are good coming on there, but there is a dropout, and I think going forward, I think for the club it's going to be it's a great future for the club in Rosemount. It's great, and the more people that's involved, the better, because you get a bit of a kick out there. There's nothing better than being out there on a summer's evening and you're looking up at the hill. You wouldn't get any better place in the country. Yeah. If someone said to me, Niall, you'd rather be in Spain or out on the beach or there out on the pitch in Rosemount, I'd say out on the beach or out in the pitch there in Rosemount looking up the hill.
That's pushing it a little bit.
No, I know. It is.
Brilliant stuff. Well, look, thanks a million, lads, for sharing your thoughts and your memories, and fair play for everything you're doing for the club.
Thanks
very much.